Well, good morning, everybody. And so, how about that snow day we got that we didn't expect? We were thinking that they might make a late start or like make us do remote from home, but apparently they gave us a snow day. So there you go. Now, because of that, I was expecting to meet with the even number classes on Thursday, but it didn't happen. And because of that, I don't expect you guys to go and do all the stuff that we were going to do had we met. We'll just wait and do that Tuesday, okay? But the one thing that we had already started was the logic grid, and it is asynchronous Friday. So I do expect you to get the logic grid turned in on time. The other stuff, I'd almost rather you wait actually until Tuesday because I have a couple of in-class like discussion questions before we go into the things that are in the classwork section. So with that being said, let's go and do logic grid 6, okay? Here we go. So under February 22nd, I've already got it opened up. I'm ready to go to it. Again, this Believe Perseverance and weekly reflection number 5, periods 1 and 5. Good job with that. We had a good day of discussion and some really good writing to come out of that. But for periods 2, 4, and 6, we're going to push that back to Tuesday just because we didn't have a chance to like watch the video together and then talk about some of the terms that are in there. Okay, so just wait till Tuesday for me if you don't mind on that one. All right, so anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and open up our logic grid. And it's logic grid number 6. We're going to open that up with Cami. And we're going to solve that together. And one of the first things I like to do, as you know, is just to make sure I know what is going into each of the grids over here. Let me move my camera out of the way here so that you guys can see what we're working on. You don't really need to see my face so much. I mean, I know you probably want to, but just like, oh, look, that's Mr. Minds without a mask. But at the same time, you don't need to. All right, anyways, here we go. So over here, I know that if it talks about a clue with a player and a composer, it's going to be in this left grid. If it's a player and their instrument clue, it's going to be in the right grid. And then if it's a clue that's matching the composer to the instrument they're being played upon, it's going to be that bottom left grid. All right, so let's go ahead and see the backstory. Sometimes there's a clue in here. And this is a classic elimination puzzle, by the way. It's like you just got to make sure that you're hitting all the things that it's telling you in every clue. And if you are eliminating everything that tells you to eliminate, you're actually going to find who's doing what and who's playing what instrument and which composer pretty easily and quickly. All right, here we go. Junior recital, logic grid number 6. Arthur's little sister Bonnie also has a quartet, a string quartet. They've got a concert tomorrow, but before they play their finale as a group, they each get to play a solo piece. Can you figure out who plays what instrument as well as the composer of each player's solo? You bet you can, using deductive reasoning. All right, here we go. So the first clue is a valid clue. It tells you a truth. And so the first thing that's going to tell us is that the viola player is the younger brother of the one who plays Wagner. And so the fact that it's a younger brother means that it has to be a boy. And what we have here are 3 girls' names, Bonnie, Betty, and Becky, and 1 boy named Bradley. So the viola player has to be Bradley. Just like the last puzzle, except that it was the sister that it gave the clue on that one. But anyways, here we go. We're going to go ahead and eliminate the rest of that column because if Bradley played viola, Bonnie didn't play it. Betty didn't play viola, neither did Becky. And then if Bradley played viola, then he didn't play violin, he didn't play cello, and he didn't play double bass. Now, one thing, as I was dropping into groups back on Monday and Tuesday, is that if you didn't catch this one part of the clue, there was an elimination that comes key on the next clue and helping us figure something out. So it says he's the brother of the one who plays Wagner. Well, if his sister plays Wagner, that means Bradley does not play Wagner. So don't forget to eliminate that. All right, now the next thing it tells us, the Wagner soloist, and that's right here where we just eliminated for Bradley, doesn't play violin or double bass. And so we'll go down to violin under Wagner and double bass under Wagner. So the Wagner person has to be viola or it has to be cello. But guess what? We already know that Bradley plays the viola, so we're just going to go ahead and take viola out right here too. And that means cello is the person, the Wagner player. Okay. And then also we see that Bradley doesn't play cello, so that makes sense. Also, the Wagner soloist is neither Betty nor Becky. So let's go ahead and cross out Betty, and let's cross out Becky. And then through the process of elimination, now we remember we can only have 1 green, 1 valid, 1 truth per row and per column. So we've already eliminated 3 for Wagner. That means Bonnie has to be the Wagner player. And we already crossed out 3 of them for the instrument for Wagner, so it has to be cello. And now we can cross out the rest of those rows and columns. And just because we know that the cello is what is playing Wagner and that Bonnie is playing Wagner, that means that Bonnie has to be the cello player too. So we'll just go ahead and knock that out while we're here. And then do our eliminations for the row and the column. There we go. Now we got quite a bit filled in here. So, and we're only on clue number 3. So really we should be able to find this pretty quickly, I'm thinking, moving forward. All right, Bradley doesn't play cello. Well, we already knew that because we knew he played the viola. So we already have that crossed out for him. And in fact, we found the cello player as Bonnie. And then the violinist can't stomach Shostakovich. So that means we're going to go to Shostakovich and we're going to take out violin, which means it has to be either the viola or the double bass, but we are still looking, so we're going to figure that out in just a second. All right. The double bass player is not experienced with either Shostakovich or Debussy. So if they're not experienced with it, they're not going to be playing that at a recital, right? So that means double bass will not be playing Shostakovich, and the double bass will not be playing Debussy. And now look at that. We found out actually almost, I think, all the instruments because of that elimination. But we'll go back to that in just one second. I'm just going to go and take care of clue number 6 because it's just telling me really quick that Betty is not going to perform Debussy. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark off Debussy for Betty because I'm about to do some green fill-ins here. So now I'm going to go into my green delta. I know the viola player is the only one left for Shostakovich. And I know the double bass is the only one left open and for Ravel. So that's who's playing those instruments. And then obviously if the only one who hasn't played anything now is violin, and so the violin has to be Debussy. So let's go ahead and fill in the rest of that grid. And now we can just kind of match some things over, right? If we know that the viola is playing Shostakovich and we know that Bradley is playing the viola, then we know that Bradley is playing Shostakovich. Oops, I forgot to turn that to green. Hadn't done that in a while. Messed up finally. Okay, so anyways, we're going to make Shostakovich green for Bradley. And that gives us some elimination time over here. And when we make those eliminations, that means Betty has to be the one who plays Ravel. It's the only one left open for her. And that means that Debussy has to be Becky. And then just like we did before, if the violin matches Becky here, then Becky has to match violin over here. And then the same with the double bass and Betty over here. And boom, we've finished this puzzle just like that. That's probably a record for how it's probably the fastest puzzle of the ones we've done so far. Now we're just going to switch to text box and go ahead and put in our components here for our solutions. So let's just do all the students first. Okay, why is that doing that to me? Come on, stop. Okay, so we have Bonnie. And that's really tiny, so I need to make that kind of bigger, don't I? There we go. Now we can read it. And then after Bonnie, we will have Bradley. And we're just going to do these right in order. And then we will go to Betty. And then finally Becky. And then we know that Bonnie did Wagner on the cello. We know that Bradley did Shostakovich, which is a really fun name to say, I gotta say. And he did that on viola. And then we know that Betty did Ravel on double bass. And finally, that means Becky was playing Debussy with the violin. So here is your solutions, and here are the here's the grid. Let me pause for a moment so you can pause your screen and check your work. All right, just a couple things to remind everybody. To get a complete score on this, you do need to fill out your solutions in the box down here with your different categories, okay? So make sure you're filling out student, composer, and instrument to get that full 4 out of 4, and that you have your grid filled in all the way too, okay? All right, so with that being said, that's the main thing I'm looking for on Friday, first and fifth period. I'll start grading those reflections that you finished today and yesterday. And then I will just teach that lesson to periods 2, 4, and 6. Like I said, I don't expect you to work ahead in stuff that we haven't done together on a snow day and asynchronous day. Okay, so just the logic grid is all I'm looking for 2, 4, and 6. All right, guys and girls, that's it. We will see you later. Have a good day.